Okay, morning, folks. Welcome to the briefing on Wednesday, the 23rd. And it's our gliding longest day today. They've already done about 40 launches out there, picked the perfect day for it. Slightly disrupted by the jet move that's about to take place. Another one due as well. So I'll talk about those a bit later, but I'm sure we'll get down to what you're really interested in, and that's what the weather's going to do. So this little ridge of high pressure was over us last night, and it's still clinging on. Same air mass. Pressure's about 1,022, 23 over us. Reasonably clear skies, so light winds. As you can see, the isobars are all over the place. There's a drift further to the east of us from the northeast. I think that will have an effect. The progress of this front is very, very slow. So you can see it's across northern England at the moment. And even by tomorrow, it's only crawling down over us in a very weak affair. It's just going to be a cloud feature by then. So not much to worry about from that. TAFs today. Okay, so Farnborough, 363 knots, wind, say light for most of the day. Few at 4.5. You know, that's going to be a picture in places, cumulus, other places going blue, depending on the dew points. Gatwick and Heathrow, both giving a slight northeasterly drift, 010, 020. And I think that's going to take effect here later on this morning and this afternoon. So there's a very good chance that we'll launch on 27, launch the grid on 27, but I think at some point late morning, early afternoon, we'll be swapping onto 09. So if you're coming back from a cross-country flight, give us a call, find out what runway we're on. We'll let you know. Upper winds across the sort of middle part of the country, northerly, sort of slight northwesterly, but you can see down the eastern side, 010, 020, the lower levels, 1 to 2, 3,000 feet, and across the channel, it's 030, 040, probably this way. So that's the easterly drift out to the east of us, a more northerly drift to the west side of us. So we're caught in between, really. Satpic doesn't really show you a lot. Nice clear band here. This stuff just dissipating fairly quickly. The front moving incredibly slowly, not going to be an issue. And the temperature's rising very, very quickly in this central belt here. We're already at nearly 14 degrees, and that should be, looking at the Lark Hill, the trigger temperature. Maybe a little bit more than that to sort of really kick it off properly. Temperatures today should go 21, maybe even 22 degrees. Around us, a couple of degrees warmer than yesterday. And that area there is, as you can see from the Satpic, where it's going to warm up nicely. The temperatures will be sort of, you know, around that 20 to 22 degree mark. Dew points already fairly low. I'll have a look at the Lasham weather station in about half an hour to see what the mixing's like. But I would have thought already we'll start to see some mixing, and hopefully by 10 o'clock, some cumulus and the sign of thermals. Soundings, I've only looked at 2 soundings. This is the local one to Lasham, and with the dew points down at about 4 to 5 degrees, it's giving cloud base there at around 4.5. Cloud tops about 5.5 under that inversion. This is for this afternoon. Looking further north, and top meteo suggesting that there will be cumulus, but into East Anglia, likely to be blue. The Lark Hill sounding is very similar to the local predicted sounding. You can see there's the solid inversion, takes about 13, 14 degrees, maybe a little bit more. If you put 15 degrees in, it's definitely going to break. and the upper inversion is at about 1600 meters. So that'll limit cloud tops at around 6,000 feet. So yeah, all looking good. No upper cloud, as you can see from the ascent here, quite dry in the upper levels. So very little sign of upper level cloud from the warm front to the northwest of us. So let's get on to Top Meteor's forecasts. So they're saying by 11 o'clock, 3,500 feet in the Lasham area, 12 to 1,300 meters, thermals going already. And as the morning and early afternoon goes on, 1,700 meters, I think. Yeah, that's 5,000 feet, possibly. Depends on how far down the dew points go, but don't see why not over a reasonable area, certainly between here, Husbos, and into East Anglia. And it should go on for quite a long time. That's 5 o'clock. Still should be saurable, still be cumulus around. You can see from Top Meteor's prediction, it's more or less in line with what the BBC was showing this morning of a band of cloud up through here, cumulus developing. That's 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and there's 4 o'clock in the afternoon. In that sort of corridor of nice weather, cumulus developing. BBC was showing that as well, with less cumulus over sort of East Anglia and Norfolk. So it should be quite good. And the predicted distance, you can probably guess, is there. So tasking down towards the West Country and then up towards East Anglia seems to be the sensible option today. So yeah, pretty good. Looking out there at the moment, obviously the grid is all set up. We'll get you going as soon as possible. Airspace locally, one or two things going on. Parachuting at Bryce, that's military parachuting up to 12,000 feet. The timings on that are 12:30 to 1700, so that's directly over the top of the controlled airspace. If you plan to go across the top during that time, you may want to speak to them just to find out what's going on. Fly past at Halton. Obviously, Halton is tucked under the sort of 3,500 foot stub of Luton's airspace, but it's just for some reason shown on this chart as a large area. Don't know what it is, but its timing is 13:15 to 13:45, so half an hour for something flying past Halton. Unlikely that gliders will be routing through that particular area because of the cloud base. And our usual friend at Keble, they're operating with the UAVs that go into Salisbury danger area, 8:30 in the morning till 5:30 at night. If you are crossing through there, please give them a call on Boscombe on 126.7 and see if you can get a crossing service. This aerobatic air display at Sywell, my reading on this is here's the 23rd and the timing is 16:15 to 16:35, so 20 minutes, small period for an air display or aerobatics locally to Sywell. And really in this region now, folks, that is about it. Lots of paragliding in Wales and the West Country and various other places with sites that have a northerly facing ridge. So they'll be out in force today. It's a good looking day. Movements, yeah, we've got one that should be departing fairly shortly. It's backtracking now. Fantastic. Get that out of the way. We'll be back on the runway. And there's a 727 coming in midday now. Okay, so we know somewhere between 11:30 and 12 o'clock, so midday. And it's very likely that when that 72 is in, we've launched the grid, we will swap onto 09. But we'll take a look at the wind at that particular point. Right, folks, certainly be ready by 10 o'clock for a grid launch. and I'll see you out there shortly.